Hey, everybody. Welcome to the new episode of the Boostly podcast. It's the podcast that gives you the tactics, the tools, the trainings, and most importantly, the confidence on how you can go out there and get more direct bookings. So today we are going behind the host. My name's Carolan, and we're going behind the host with Buck Cumbo, and he is from Sea Mountain Vacations. If you want to go and check them out before we get started, you can do so by going to seamountainvacations.com. Go and check out his awesome branding. He's now got a Boostly website, which we're going to talk about as well. And today's episode is all about how just networking and building connections, saying yes and figuring out along the way really helps you in the hospitality industry, and how having those connections really opens up those doors in general. So, and Buck's got a great story, which he's going to share with us. So welcome along, Buck. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, Liam, thanks for having me, man. Super excited.
So tell us a bit about your business and where you are in the world.
Yeah, so I'm currently based out of Nashville, Tennessee. I run the business remotely. All of our properties are in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've lived there the past 15 years or so, and kind of just I moved here to chase my beautiful wife now. She's a songwriter out here, and we bought a property, and it kind of just forced us to figure it out, build the right systems and processes to be able to scale upon. And we had really good success with that property, and we decided we would take on a few more. So it's been an exciting journey over the past few months.
That's cool. How many units do you currently look after, and what sort of model do you use?
Yeah, so right now we have 11 units that are live. We have, I'd like to say, another 30 or so that are being renovated. So we're holding our homeowners to a very high standard to kind of ensure that guest satisfaction's met. So typically when we take on a new homeowner, we're going to ask them to renovate their property and refurnish it kind of up to our standard to, again, bring that guest experience to a really high point. That's very important to us. We started out with the co-hosting model, kind of wanted to just get our feet under us and figure out this whole hosting thing, and get all the kinks worked out before we started taking on other clients. So I think this past summer we had 4, and we're up to 46 now, just within about 4 or 5 months. It's been a crazy journey.
We had Bill Faith on recently, and he was saying, the right way to do this if you want to get started is to start with that co-hosting model. So how did you learn what you needed to know from that co-hosting, and what kind of doors did that unlock?
Yeah, so it helped me refine the systems and processes I needed to build a strong foundation to scale upon. It was extremely helpful just taking a few properties under the belt before I took any real management clients, and just utilizing that to build everything out, whether it be the guest messaging, the templates, knowing the issues that might arise and kind of having systems in place to address them. It was extremely helpful starting with that model initially, and then graduating to the management model.
And just to jump in, so how did you do that initially? How if somebody was sitting there, just going, what, I'd love to get in co-hosting, but what steps did you take to really, meet these hosts to become their co-host?
Yeah, I mean, you really just got to be initially good at selling yourself. Fortunately, my wife and I had bought a property, and that was kind of our trial run, and we worked out all the kinks from there and had really good success. So pitching myself to other investors to like, hey, let me co-host your property was a little bit easier because I had built that foundation first with my personal property. But I think one of the biggest things that helped was initially after the short-term rental wealth conference, Mark spoke, and it got me fired up. So I think I had 2 listings at the time, and I reached out to you guys. I was like, hey, let's build a site, and Boostly got a site built, and that helped build a tremendous amount of rapport with co-hosting clients. So just having that forward-facing site it helped tremendously, being able to convince these homeowners to know that I'm legit, so that was extremely helpful.
That's amazing. And do you know what? Again, we've not spoken about this obviously before the call. I know I did ask, how's the website going? But you've made a really important point, and one which I found as well. I'm a host myself. And by having a good quality website, and obviously in this case, we've both got Boostly websites naturally, as I work for Boostly now, and yourself as a client, the benefit of having that website is that they suddenly go, hang on, you've got a professional website. You're geared up for direct bookings, which 90% of people aren't necessarily geared up for direct bookings, and that just puts you as the kind of industry leader in your particular local location. So that's a really awesome point, and thank you, Buck, for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you say for the people listening are the things which they'd have to consider differently with management to your own first unit? Was there anything which you look back and you go, there was perception I had about management which has changed over time, or something that people would be aware of or need to be aware of?
It's really not that different, than managing your own unit. You just have to put yourselves in the homeowner's shoes, and be able to provide them with, whether it be reports or different services to maximize their experience as a client. We're trying to make this as hands off for these investors as we can. And that's been extremely helpful for them and us, but having that foundation built out with our own property, again, just kind of help lead the path into that.
That's cool. And setting them expectations, because I've seen some of your properties obviously on your website, which I encourage everyone else to go to seamountainvacations.com and go and check out your properties, because they're beautiful. And that's one of the things where when you're then managing other people's, you've got to say, hey, I need you to be at this standard, which, by being at this standard, I can then get you this sort of income, and will then most importantly get good reviews, which then brings more people, and the cycle continues, which obviously you're doing very well there, which is cool. What challenges have you had along the way so far, Buck?
One of the biggest challenges has been imposter syndrome, kind of just getting to the point where I'm at now and just being like, okay, well, am I worthy of this? Is this me? That overcoming that has been one of the biggest struggles, and trying to step out of my comfort zone and do things like this. Very, very introverted guy. So just comes back to the imposter syndrome. Everything else has been easily worked through as far as the hosting journey is concerned. You learn from trial and error.
Let's talk about your tech within the business. What top pieces of tech do you love to use on a day-to-day basis?
Does my Boostly website count?
It definitely does. Yeah, you can give that a mention. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. So beyond that, integrating the Schlage smart locks has been really, really cool. Just again, working remote, just having we got it connected to Hospitable. So when somebody books, it sets the code for the last 4 digits of their phone number, and we just have somebody kind of roll in and out of there just to check that all that's in line. And that smooth check-in process, guests absolutely love it. Beyond that, we utilize Rank Breeze to track our rankings, and that's been extremely helpful. And it's been a huge selling point, being like, hey, all of our properties are on page 1. So that's been really cool. And I mean, really, we're implementing new softwares and technologies every day, just trying to innovate and stay ahead of the game. So each step of the way, we're figuring out something new that we like, or something that we're going to take away and replace with something else. It's definitely been exciting. That's my favorite part, has been the tech side of things.
It is exciting. And with hospitality, there's so many new tech as well. I mean, all PMSs are pretty new. Did you mention a PMS there? Do you use a PMS currently?
Yeah, so currently we're working with Guesty, but transitioning into working with LMPM.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they have a really robust system that we're excited to start using.
This is the exciting thing about, like I say, hospitality, is that things are so new. PMSs in general are so new. Dynamic pricing software is still relatively new. That there's all these tech, and they're all coming together, and it's the most exciting space, hospitality tech, because all these things didn't exist 10 years ago. So what are they going to look like in 10 years time? You know, it's really going to be amazing. So thank you so much for spending your time with us, Buck, today. And thank you too, if you're listening in either on the live or on the Boostly podcast, come and join us on the hospitality community on Facebook if you want to keep the conversation going with us, or ask myself or Mark Simpson any questions. You can find that just by going to group searches and search hospitality community, and we'll pop up as the top group there. So thank you again for listening. We'll see you on the next one. That's bye from me, and bye from Buck.
Having a blast, gonna get it on the Boostly podcast. Boostly like Bruce Lee, cause it's so hard and the T is loose leaf. Making up those rhymes, don't write it, just do it loosely.